Can I get a retwist? Can I get a retwist? Can I get a retwist? Yeah. I know y'all see it. Retwist. Greetings and good day, hunters. I am the Golden Chief, Saint Kim, and I welcome you to Good Hunting. Okay, so welcome to Good Hunting, hunters. For today's video, I am going to be doing my skincare routine, my morning skincare routine. I am going to be doing my morning skincare routine while I talk about my thoughts on Aaliyah J's video, Don't Let Your Boyfriend Get in the Way of You Finding Your Husband. I believe that was the title of her video. Now, I'm not at the point where I can do reactions. I would like to get there eventually, but right now I just want to watch things or experience things on my own time and then come back and tell you my thoughts on it, because I'm a mother and I gotta get in where I fit in, so I can't keep putting off watching videos. So I'd rather just watch them right then and there when I have the time, and then just come back later and record the video, because I can't record the video while I'm watching the video in that moment. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so with that being said, I watched the video about 2 days ago, I believe. I'm not gonna hold you, Aaliyah. When I first saw the title, I was like, what you trying to say here, girl? I don't know. But I finally got to watch the video and I was like, oh, okay, I see what you mean there. I can relate to this. I have some experiences that I would like to share and add to the discussion. So that is what we are going to be doing today. Let us begin. And if you see me looking down or that way, that is because I'm looking at a mirror for my skin and I have my phone here with my notes. So I'm not gonna be looking at the camera too much because I'm focused on my skin right now. I have a pimple patch from last night, and you know, we just real and raw right now. And I'm also not gonna be too into showing what products I use in this video either. Maybe for another time. So she starts off the video saying that she has had some experiences where she thought she was with the love of her life, and I have felt that way as well. And basically what the title is about is how not to settle for the person you are not supposed to be with. And for me, the ways that I can tell that I'm settling is when I'm always compromising myself. I'm always compromising myself for them, or I'm always constantly being understanding of them and the same is not being returned to me. There's not an equal exchange. And I don't believe that relationships are always going to be 50-50. I don't believe that both partners are going to constantly be in a place where they can give 50% to the relationship. But I do believe that if the relationship is at like 60-40, if both people are self-aware enough and emotionally mature enough. Even if someone is at 40%, I still believe that it will feel like they are giving their all to the relationship. It's just right now they need more from their partner. So Aaliyah's first point in her video is to know your worth and to stand on business and to have the discipline to stand on said business. Self-discovery does not end. And I definitely believe that healing is a never-ending journey because you're always going to have new experiences. I feel like things don't get better. You just get better at dealing with them. You become a better person who is able to deal with the things that you experience in life. For me, once I made the conscious decision to not go through certain experiences again, I was able to recognize the patterns and the energy presented to me in the next person and choose differently. That's how I started to build up my self-worth. Knowing what I would and would not let myself go through really helped me build my self-worth up, because before I felt like I was just on autopilot, just going through the motions of whatever I was experiencing. If I was met with something new, I would just go through it. I was not actively a participant in my life. I was not making a conscious decision when something new came in my life to be like, I don't want to experience this. I would go through the experience first and then say, I don't want to experience this no more. So now I'm able to recognize energy and recognize people's intentions and recognize when something is and is not for me before I even go through it. And that just saves me a lot of time. She then talks about how if her boundaries are crossed, she just leaves, right? And for me, I definitely had to learn how to build up my boundaries, not just with men, but with friends and with family and with myself. I definitely used to be the type of person that would give chance after chance after chance after chance. I've always been so understanding, so too understanding, right? And too understanding and give so many chances to the point where when I finally reached my breaking point, I had built up the reputation of being so understanding and going to give multiple chances that when I was finally ready to cut somebody off, people did not believe me. People did not believe me when I finally cut somebody off. But because I'm such an understanding person, that when I finally reached my breaking point of like, okay, like I'm tired of going through this, I don't want to experience this no more, I would cut someone off with the swiftness. Like it's only, even with understanding people, like it's only so much that a person can take before they snap. They're not going to keep letting you treat them, well, for me anyway, I wasn't going to, I knew when I didn't need to experience something no more. If that's one thing that I can say about myself in the past. I knew when I didn't want to experience something anymore. I knew when I had learned the lesson that I needed to learn and it was time to go. Like, I knew when somebody's season in my life was over and it was time for them to go. I was always making excuses for people's behaviors. But I feel like you can recognize why someone is acting a certain way or treating you a certain way and not be an enabler to their behavior. For example, when you are an enabler to somebody's behavior, you'll respond like this: oh no, I understand. It's okay. I get why you did what you did. I know you didn't mean it that way. When you're not an enabler for somebody's behavior, this is how you respond. Hey, I understand why you did what you did, but when you did ABC, it made me feel like XYZ. So moving forward, da 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 da. And that da 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 is the boundary, right? So once you set that boundary and they still choose to cross it, I'm leaving with no hesitation and no explanation. Snip, snip, ho. Snip, snip, ho. Because I've already communicated with you what the issue was. I told you what my problem was with your actions. I told you how your actions affected me. And I told you what would need to be done for us to be able to move forward from what you did. So I'm giving you a chance to strengthen our relationship and move forward, but you chose to ignore that chance. Once I set a boundary, you can't get no reminder out of me. You cannot get a reminder out of me because you're grown. Like, you're an adult. When people cross a boundary that you set, it is blatant, red alert disrespect. And when people cross your boundary and you don't enforce the consequence of that action, it is blatant, red alert disrespect to yourself that you are committing. And I feel like that's even worse. Aaliyah's second point is to create your dream husband and don't have your expectations too high or you'll only end up disappointing yourself. So let's talk about the list, okay? If you don't know what the list is basically a list that you make of your dream guy or your dream girl. I definitely have a list, right? And I agree with Aaliyah about not being unrealistic about it, but I feel like the only way you can be unrealistic about it is if you're asking for this great, amazing person and you're toxic. And first, let me say that I do feel like it is important to make a list so that God knows what to send you. Even if God doesn't give you everything on the list in the one person, because nobody is perfect, at least God has some inkling of the outline of what it is that he needs to send you, right? I feel like when you don't have a list and you don't have a vision in your mind of the type of person you will and will not accept, when you don't have that list, you're going to accept whatever comes your way. But for me, I definitely have a list. And when I made my list, kid you not, I made a list on the very next page of the type of woman I would need to be in order to have that type of man and keep that type of man. And then once I made his list and I made my list, I went and did the work on myself so that I could naturally attract the person that I wanted, because I was already that person myself. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't care how much you pray and ask God for this great, amazing person, right? If you are toxic, if that's the energy that you are putting out into the world, that's what you're going to attract. And I've learned that from experience. Not saying that I was toxic, but whatever level I was vibrating at, that's the level of person that I attracted, right? And the only time God sends you someone who is above your level vibration is to basically test you to see if you're ready to have that person. God is testing you to raise your vibration and meet that person where they at. So then you can attract someone who is this great, amazing person, right? This is what I feel like guys mean when they said there's a woman in their life that got away. A guy is vibrating here, and then God, and this happens to women too as well, but more times than not, there is a woman in a guy's life that got away. So a guy is vibrating here. God sends a woman in his life that is vibrating here, right? So this is a test. God is seeing if you are a man that is able to recognize the value in the woman that is up here, and see if you are going to do the work to raise your vibration and meet her here. Some men are not able to do that, and some women, okay? But some men are not able to do that, and they choose to stay right here. And the woman is not going to wait. Most people, forget about women, forget about men. Most people are not going to wait around for you to raise your vibration. So they're going to continue to go up, and that is how that person gets away. Now, I definitely feel like two people can heal while they are in a relationship, but only if while you were single, you were already a person that could heal alone. Before, I would be involved with guys and I was healing myself and I was healing them. And one thing that I've learned is that you cannot force somebody to heal if they are not ready, because it never works out. It never works out. All that I can do is lead by example, and either you're going to catch up or you're going to get left behind, and find someone who is on your level of self-reflection. I strongly believe that you can only meet people as deeply as you have met yourself. Aaliyah then says to ask yourself if your husband would treat you the way you are being treated right now, and to look at it from the third person perspective. And I am very happy that she mentioned third person perspective, because not only in relationships, but I find that looking at life from the perspective of an observer is much more beneficial to me, because it helps me. Looking at life from the perspective of third person helps me not to take things personally in the present moment, and when I'm looking at things I have gone in the past. When I look at things that I have gone through in the past from the perspective of third person, it helps me look at things from an objective mind, and I'm much more easily able to find the lessons that I missed while I was going through them, and release trauma and release the hold that people have had on me, and become that much stronger of a person. So when you take a step back to look at the whole picture, you're able to see everything. Like, you're at a museum. If you've ever been to a museum, they say, don't stand so close to the photo. Take a step back so you can see the whole thing. Before, I used to be too close, looking at every detail. And of course, the devil is in the details, but I ignored God in the chat telling me to step back and put all the details that I was seeing together to paint the whole picture. I would ignore the red flags so bad. God would be punching me in the gut, telling me like, girl, you don't see that this is not the way your man is supposed to be treating you. Like, you don't see this, right? I definitely don't think that God puts me in situations for no reason. What happens is, well, what happened was, because I've learned my lesson, what happened was I was not seeing the lesson he was trying to teach me, and I ended up staying there longer than I needed to. Like I mentioned before, not everyone in your life is meant to be there for every season. Aaliyah's third point is self-reflection and taking responsibility. Aaliyah says that you can't control people. You are a victim of men, but at the same time, you're not a victim. Now, I definitely believe that anything that is not in my control is not my business. That's God's business. I can't control people, so I know that's God's work to do, not mine. I let people do whatever they want. I let people do whatever they want and be whoever they want. I give people the freedom to show me who they are. But that does not mean that I have to accept you into my life. So yes, I can be a victim to a man, but me personally, I try not to stay in that energy too long. I may fall victim to a man, but eventually I'm gonna get up. Like, I've never been the type to over a man for too long, because I've always knew fundamentally from a young age that pain is temporary. So me constantly being in a state of distress and woe is me was not beneficial. So yes, I would fall victim to a man, but I would not let myself stay on the floor. I would get my ass up. I am always the type to find my fault in situations, even if it's as simple as, damn, I let you into my life to even have the chance, to even have the opportunity to even treat me that way. I don't believe that things are happening to me. I believe that things are happening for me. And it's up to me to be the type of person that is able to recognize a weapon is being formed against me so that it does not have the opportunity to prosper. Aaliyah says that there are men who would move mountains to be with you. And I feel like you can definitely be with a man who would move mountains for you, but a man can see that you don't feel like you deserve to be a woman who should have mountains moved for her. And if he sees that, he's not going to do it. Okay? So heavy on the, if you don't love yourself, how do you expect somebody else to love you? Once I learned self-worth, I was able to give myself all the love that I was giving everyone else. So whenever I got treated less than, I took accountability, like Aaliyah said. I must have gave this guy or whoever the wrong impression of me somewhere along the line. So let me correct that and show you who I really am. I am not with the bullshit, okay? When it comes to dating, I have patience for everything but disrespect. I from all my past experiences and all my time in hermit mode, learning who I am and loving myself and recognizing who I am and building up my self-worth, I have learned that I have patience for everything but disrespect. We are grown adults. People know exactly what they be doing to you. People will know you better than you know yourself. People can see that you don't love yourself. They can sniff that shit out like a hound, bro. I'm telling you. People can see that you don't love yourself. People can see that you don't have no self-worth. People can see that you feel like you don't deserve to be treated like a princess. People can see that shit, right? So people know what they be doing to you. They just want to see if you know what they are doing to you and if you are going to tolerate it. The first time you let people slide, they're going to run straight to the energetic bank and cash out on your energy. They done found a new source to fill up their cup. Well, not round here, partner. Not round here, partner. So, Aaliyah's fourth point is that it's not you, it's definitely them. You can be the best girl and still not be his type. Just because he's treating you wrong doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. I have been involved with a guy before during a time where I had just actively chosen to intentionally heal myself. I was very communicative about how I felt and how things made me feel, what I wanted and did not want. I listened to his problems and gave advice. I created an environment for him to feel safe. I created an environment for him to feel comfortable. I basically poured into his cup during a time where I was only supposed to be pouring into mine. Even after doing all that, it wasn't enough because sometimes people do not be ready to receive the type of love that you have to give. Let me say that again. Sometimes people are not ready to receive the type of love that you have to give. Sometimes people do not feel worthy enough to receive the type of love that you have to give. Sometimes people don't even want to receive the type of love that you have to give. So what do? Let them go. Give the love you're trying to give them back to yourself and wait for the next person that you feel is worthy enough to receive that from you. You're supposed to learn from it and become more aware. I've never let heartbreak change who I am to my core. I just learn from it and become more and more and more selective about who I let experience that from me. Now, when I see a red flag, I don't immediately crash out. I discuss it because maybe I'm misunderstanding. Maybe the flag is red because somebody poured some red Kool-Aid on it and it can be removed. My point is that communication is key, but understanding is the lock on the door. And the door is trust that leads to the heart. Let me say that again. Communication is key and understanding is the lock on the door. The door is trust that leads to the heart. So you cannot open the door of trust and get to the heart unless you have the key of communication to unlock the lock of understanding. Yeah, like I did that. Yeah. Stop playing. I ate that up and you know it. So Aaliyah's final point is that there are men that will. Do not settle. And boy, I was a settler. Seeing the potential in people can be a very, very slippery slope. Just because you see it doesn't mean that they see it in themselves. This is when the person who's vibrating high has to make a conscious decision like, damn, I know that you can get up here if you just, put in some effort, put in some work. But if you don't see it, I can't force you because I cannot control people. So that means that I gotta leave you to God and go about my business. And either you gonna catch up or not. I used to try and fix people and get them ready to receive my love, and I would pour in their cup until I had nothing left to give. Sometimes I would even give away my fucking cup. Now you can't even get a drop from me if you haven't shown me that you are worthy enough, deserving enough to receive that from me. You can't even see how big my cup is. I'm not telling you what kind of shape my cup is. I'm not telling you where my cup is located. I'm not telling you what kind of liquid is in my cup. I'm not telling you what the liquid tastes like. I'm not telling you how potent my liquid is. You can't get no information out of me about my cup until you show me that you are worthy enough to know that information. A nigga can't get shit out of me, but a man, a good God-fearing black man can get the world from me if God gives me the okay in the chat. I'm not settling for anything less than what I know I deserve. And I can say that because I used to settle and I would get dust, crumbs, sometimes not even that. That is not to say that I was only doing for people to get something back in return. That's not to say that. I'm saying that it's one thing to just give from your heart, but it's another thing to overgive and overshare and over compromise yourself for people until you have nothing left even for yourself. That's what I was doing. When I did ask for something in return, which was this compared to this, I was made to feel like, girl, you asking for too much. I know that all men are not trash because I have not been with every man. So why would I ever walk around life with such an assumption? That's crazy work. If I walk around assuming that all men are trash, if I'm putting out the energy that all men are trash, then all I'm going to come in contact with are trash men. You know, common sense is not that common. So for me to stay with someone who is treating me less than what I know I deserve to be treated is crazy work that I do not want to do. I will stay alone until I hear God say yes. That's him. But until I hear God say yes, that's him, it's okay. It's important to date yourself. It's important to love yourself and be happy by yourself. Because when you rely on someone else for that, if they ever leave you, they're going to take back all that they gave you, whether it's intentional or not. Because you haven't built yourself up to be a person who is able to fill their own cup up, when you rely on someone else to fill up your cup and they leave, you're going to be left starving because you've become a person who is codependent on other people filling up your cup. When you're with someone that you're dependent on them filling up your cup and they leave, this is how we create crash outs. This is how we create situations where people go out sad. That's why it's so important to date yourself and know how to be alone, bro. I am so comfortable being alone that if you don't show me that you're the type of person that I want in my space when I'm alone, if I don't think to myself while I'm alone, damn, I wish you was here with me, you're not the one for me. Get out of my bubble. Remove yourself from my domain, because I definitely would rather be alone in peace than be with someone and miserable just because I need attention. So, if you enjoyed my video today, make sure you leave a like, a comment, and please subscribe and join the tribe. I am looking forward to doing more videos like this. I want to try and share my thoughts on the content of everyone from my first video, which was my top people of influence / creators list. I want to try and give my thoughts on some form of content that they have produced. So also in the comments down below, please leave some suggestions on some content that you guys would like my thoughts on, some of the things that you guys have experienced on your journey that you would like to know how I feel about. So, peace to you, on you, and through you. Ciao.